Hey everyone, this is Cindy with Mommy Late Blog. Today I'm going to be telling you all about our trip to St. Augustine, Florida. We actually made 3 trips up to St. Augustine, Florida because we loved it so much. This town is just filled with so much history and life. We had to keep going back. St. Augustine is getting ready to celebrate its 450th anniversary. And the downtown is just absolutely vibrant and has so much to do, from museums, places to shop, restaurants, and bars, and then they have a beautiful waterfront. The first place that we visited while we were in St. Augustine was the Ponce de Leon Fountain of Youth Archaeological Park. This park is located in an area that was first explored by Ponce de Leon. And one of the first things that you can do when you visit the park is you can visit the spring house and you can actually drink from the Fountain of Youth. The spring house is located right next to the entrance of the park. And the spring that you drink from, it is one of the first recorded springs, and it's recorded as early as the 17th century in a Spanish land grant. And the spring actually comes from a Floridian aquifer, and it lies underneath most of northern Florida. So if you're a northern Floridian, it's likely that you're getting the water from this spring. And I will tell you, I wasn't very impressed with the water. Not so great, but we did get to drink from the Fountain of Youth. Don't know that I feel any younger, but here I am. And some of the things that you can do while you're at the Fountain of Youth Park, you can go see a show at the planetarium. You can encounter one of the many peacocks that are around the park. That's one of the first things that you actually hear when you pull into the park, is you just hear peacocks all over the place. You can also see an original Native American burial ground, and you can walk through a Native American village to see how they lived. You can actually walk through their little huts and see all kinds of different artifacts in the huts. You can also see the 1565 Menendez settlement, which is marked out. There's this big open area in the middle of the park, and they've got all these areas marked off in the park that show where Menendez settled. And you can walk across the river walk. They have this really beautiful river walk that walks through kind of this marshy area, but once you get to the end, you see a beautiful view of Fort Matanzas Bay and the St. Augustine Inlet. It's a really beautiful view out there. One of the other things that you can do, which was a favorite of my kids, was you can see a live cannonball firing and a musket firing. And the cannonball firing, it was pretty loud, and they use a smaller cannonball for the firing. So I could only imagine how much louder a real large cannonball could have been back then. There's people, most of the people who work at the park are very friendly people, and a lot of them are in costume, and so they walk around in their costumes telling stories about the history of the park, and it's just really interesting to meet with them and encounter, hear all of their stories. One man actually even gave both of my kids a gold doubloon, which my son later went into the gift shop and snuck off to the gumball machine and put his gold doubloon in the gumball machine and actually got a gumball for it. So I guess he thought the gumball was more valuable than the gold that he got. So there you have it. After after we left there, we went and had lunch, and then we went back over into downtown St. Augustine, where we went to the Colonial Quarter. Now, the Colonial Quarter was one of my favorite places that we visited in St. Augustine. It was just a really neat place to go and visit because you actually get to get a taste of the history of St. Augustine, and you get a very casual tour throughout this little colonial quarter, where you get to see 4 centuries worth of history of St. Augustine, where you start in the 16th century and walk throughout to the 18th century. We had a very interesting tour guide. His name was Grimm, and he was a very entertaining guy. He even kept my kids entertained, which I was a little worried that they would get bored throughout this tour and that it would be more of an adult-centered tour. But he was such a fun guy that the kids loved it. And we got to see all kinds of things from the kids got to play in an archaeological dig, which was pretty much like a big sandbox with, little archaeological finds in them. And we got to see a blacksmithing demonstration, and our tour guide did a musket drill and firing. And this was really funny because it took him probably 4 or 5 times to get the musket to fire because the flint was apparently bad. And so when he finally did get it fired off, he got a big round of applause, and it was really funny. The kids really love that. And another thing that's really cool about the park is once you're done with the tour, you can walk around on your own and see everything, and they encourage you to be hands-on with everything and to really experience the Colonial Quarter. And there is a watchtower that you can climb up. And once you climb up to the top of the watchtower, there's a beautiful view of the Castillo right across the street and St. Augustine Inlet. And it's just really, really pretty over there. After we left the Colonial Quarter, there's a museum right next door to it called Pirate and Treasure Museum. And this museum was a favorite of my 3-year-old. He loved this place, and we had to drag him out kicking and screaming. He didn't want to leave. This place is a very hands-on and interactive museum. You're basically just walking through this big pirate ship that's been recreated, and you get to see what it's like to live life as a pirate. And there's animatronics all throughout the ship that tell the stories of the pirates. And you can go on the main deck, and the kids get to steer the pirate ship. And my 3-year-old's favorite was the cannonball firing. There's a little digital cannonball firing where they can actually, fire cannonballs or pretend to fire cannonballs. And I swear my 3-year-old could have stayed there all day firing the cannonballs. He loved that, absolutely loved it. So if you have a pirate lover in your family, I know Jake and the Neverland Pirates is really popular with the kids now. This is definitely the museum that you want to take your kids because it's so much fun. So that was our day in St. Augustine, and I want to thank the Fountain of Youth Park and Colonial Quarter and Pirate and Treasure Museum for allowing our family to visit their museums that day. We had so much fun, and it's a day that we definitely won't forget. So if you want more information on any of these places, visit my website that I have listed in the description of this video, and be sure to check out their social media sites, and be sure to follow me on YouTube and my Facebook page, and follow my blog, and I will see you all soon.